What's happening, people? We're back here once again on CubCamTV for this, another edition of CubReacts. 2 in a week. It's almost like the good old days. It's good to be back inside the building. As always, I've seen another banger land. I'm slightly late on this one. I'm about a day behind, but I saw here it was, and I saw the reaction to the tune and thought, you know what, we have to get involved with this one. Mayorkun with Let Me Know. The official video has just dropped. I think the official audio for this one dropped last week, but again, I completely missed it. Apologies. I've been so busy with radio stuff, as you can probably see if you do follow me on the socials. It's non-stop at the moment. However, if you are interested in getting involved in more in the channel, please do make sure you are hitting that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page. Obviously, turning notifications on, leaving a like, leaving a comment, all of that good stuff. And please do remember as well, there will be a lot of cuts and pauses during this video. The reason for this is quite simply because YouTube will block the videos unless we cut them down. So there will be a lot of focus on analysis, technically breaking down the tune, the production, the vocal performance, the video as well, perhaps, and everything else that we notice. So hopefully you guys can still enjoy, and let's crack on with this one. It's a really interesting start right from the off, just before we jump into it. Very kind of stripped back and percussive, which is, as we know, the sort of tune Mayorkun likes to go over. But there's almost like a kind of like garagey sort of sounding like touch to those percussive hits. They almost sound a bit like organ chords, like from sort of classic garage tunes. I don't know if that's just me bugging, but that's what I'm kind of hearing when I'm hearing those. Really, really nice start. The video looks crisp as well. Let's go, Mayorkun.
Waiting down go take cannot do for you. Yeah, but if you agree, see, you go be my love.
Just in general with this guy, man, he's got such a kind of liquid flow, you know, the way he kind of moves his melodies around, they're so kind of free-flowing, there's no sort, it seems kind of effortless, you know, the way they kind of ride up and down and left and right. They never seem to be too strained, it never seems to be too kind of, too strenuous on his vocal cords, it just seems to naturally weave in and out. Really, really nice melodies so far.
Anything you want me to do, I go do. If I'm too bad for you, let me know. And if you want on one thing, let me know.
The thing I'm liking about this a lot is the fact that we are constantly building up the instrumentation in the background. We're hearing these very sort of I think it's called generic instrument sort of sounding sort of chord tones and horn tones, sorry, kind of moving into the composition, which sound very, very digital. The rest of the track sounds very, very kind of organic and almost acoustic in the way it's put together. It's a nice blend of sounds. Also, he is wearing gloves in the middle of a desert, which is something I can't even fathom, to be honest with you. I struggle in the heat most of the time.
And anything you want from me, girl, you got tell it all to my face, yeah. Back it up.
Very nice. See what I mean about the instrumentation, though? It's got a very kind of digital, almost kind of Mexican sort of sounding, sort of like the melodies they're using are really kind of South American, very Latin in the way they kind of move around. And obviously we've got the kind of cowboy theme going on here as well, so I'm assuming there's a sort of tie-in with the video as well. But it's sounding nice, man. I think the vocals are maybe being a little bit clouded by the kind of intensity of the instrumentation behind, maybe more so than I would have personally preferred. But who am I to tell? At the end of the day, I just sit here and talk about what I hear.
Everybody else, I'm a bad guy. To my baby boo, I'm the right guy.
There we go. I always find with Mayorkun tunes, there's almost like this, there's a similarity to Davido in the way there's this kind of, it's almost like a gunshot fires, or like something gets released, or like something snaps and everything gets let loose, because we suddenly hear these crazy melodies appear on a tune which has been moderately monotone so far, not too much melodic movement. It's been all very kind of intricate and nice, but nothing too kind of scaly. This suddenly it's going up and down and left and right and da-da-da-da-da. As I said, we know the relationship between Mayorkun and Davido is quite like we know they're big fans of what each other do. So you can hear the kind of influence between it. Really, really nice. I wasn't necessarily expecting this one to go like that. It just did. It's made me happy.
Tell me what to do. Now make I sing this song for you, yeah.
That's wicked, that.
Girl, I need some love tonight.
The little guitar chords coming in as well, the little like plucked arpeggio melodies, really, really nice. Again, the vocal lines are even more expansive than they were before. Again, those chord, it genuinely sounds like organ stabs in old garage tunes. That sort of tripleted percussive sound we keep hearing. That sort of do 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 do. That sounds like an organ chord to me. I don't know if it's just because I've been working on signing garage music all day, but that's what kind of immediately rings true to me. It's an interesting kind of way of using the sound.
Yeah, yeah. So So anything you want, make
I really like this setting as well.
I'm too bad for you, let
This
me
is
know.
really cool
And
with
if
all
you
of
want
the
it,
like rugs and tapestries and stuff. It's really well put together. I wonder how much the budget was for this video, because the landscape's crazy, but realistically, it doesn't cost anything to drive into an area like this. Obviously, the camera hire and stuff like that does, but the actual going to the place doesn't really cost anything. I'd be interested to see how much went into kind of getting all the rugs and stuff, whether they put that stuff together themselves, whether it was like a house they've hired or a place they've hired or something like that. It's interesting. I don't tend to dive into the music video itself as much as I used to, but I always find like unique looking scenery like that always to be quite interesting.
my little baby, you too set. You did make my head correct. Now my bus stop more fair
To an extent, it does sound like we're getting a bit of a call and respond between that instrument. I don't even know what it is. It's like a keyboard, but it's quite sonic. It's a noise I've heard before, and it's a very digital sound. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's almost like a synth horn sort of sound that's leading the way on it. But it sounds like there's a bit of a kind of call and respond going on between Mayorkun's vocals and that. Like they're kind of going in tandem with each other, which works quite well. And again, he's expanding the vocal lines. The tune isn't getting boring. It's expanding. It's growing. It's reaching new areas, and new melodies are folding in. It's good. It's a tune that grows as it moves, which I always like. If you watch these videos, you'll know.
Contest, I'm better than them. If you want contest, I'm better than them. See how them they best, cause I'm better than them. I mean,
I want to know where this is, because this is a very beautiful looking place. Like, let's be real here. This looks beautiful. And just in general as well, we're starting to hear I think we are moving towards the end of the tune here. There's about 30 seconds of it left. We're starting to hear that sort of typical effect where it's going through the phone. It's a different way of pushing the vocals through. It's quite an interesting trick. A lot of people tend to do it towards the end of longer sort of 3-minute tunes these days. Very nice. Nicely done. It's quite nice listening through it, actually. On an instrumental level, it is quite nice listening through, hearing those instruments without the vocal there. They almost sound a little bit cleaner. I think there are points on this tune where sonically his vocal lines are kind of clashing a little bit with how much is going on instrumental-wise, which is a little bit upsetting, to be honest with you, because it could have been, if there'd have been that little bit of nous just to move the notation around or maybe do a bit of filtration, we would have heard that Mayorkun vocal standing out a lot more, and the tune works regardless, but that's just a personal preference for me from a production angle. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice actually hearing the instrumentation all come together towards the end as well.
Bring the heat,
And there we go, the end of that one. Mayorkun with Let Me Know. Really enjoyed this one. Really nice bop to it, to be honest with you. There's a really uplifting kind of flavour to the whole tune. It's lively. We get to see Mayorkun kind of expand on his vocal range as the tune goes on. It doesn't get boring. Obviously, a few little snipes for me with the sort of kind of how full the mix down is. It just feels like there could have been a bit more going on space-wise. Space is your friend when mixing music, in my honest opinion. Use the space. Let stuff kind of sit on its own. It gives it more impact. But apart from that, I really like it. I like the melodies he used. I like the way the song grows and never gets boring. And yeah, in general, I did enjoy this one. Now, if you enjoyed this reaction video, please do make sure you are hitting that subscribe button on the right-hand side of the page. It's very important that you do do that, because we want to make sure the channel keeps growing. We're very near to hitting, I think, 12.3k at the moment, so if we can get to that over the course of the next week, that would be awesome. Out to each and every one of you who has been involved, and do remember you can check me out over on Breakfast with Kovu, 7 till 10 in the AM on Trickstar Radio. It's the breakfast show I run for a day job, and it's where I play a lot of the tunes you actually see me reacting to on the channel as well. Loads of new music on there every single day, and we are streaming around the world, and of course streaming live across the south coast of the UK. Please do get involved, and we shall see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now, but they're sounding a bright and town.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCamTV. Stay locked.